Here we go again. Alright, welcome back to another video. We are going to further diagnose the 325IS today. So last time you saw this, whether it's in this video or last video, I unplugged the TPS sensor and the car ran like astronomically better. So we also tested the TPS with a multimeter. The ohms readout was pretty much exactly where it needed to be determined a good sensor. Alright, I want to go ahead and compression test this car. Just want to get that out of the way. We'll do a test, we'll see what the numbers are. I'm interested to find out. I'm kind of nervous on doing this just because if the numbers are not great, it's going to be a total bummer. But we're going to figure it out regardless, whether this car needs a new top end or it needs something more than that. Oh, we'll cross our fingers here. But I don't know, so it's probably better to just find out. We'll also, while we have to pull the plugs, we'll be able to look at them. I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards this car might have bad gas, might just have bad fuel. Like I said, it's sat for a very long time, so this could be a good possibility. Fuel filter could be clogged. I don't know that it would cause the car to run this bad, and the car, again, doesn't run excellent when it's warm, but it runs better. So I feel like gas could be responsible for this, which would kind of suck because that's a bit of a project, but let's just knock out everything else we can here while we have the tools and equipment to do so. Alright, to compression test this M50, we're going to pull the coil packs out, the spark plugs out, and then pull the fuel pump fuse out from the fuse box. We want the car to crank and not actually start, hence why we pull the fuel pump fuse. So this is really fairly simple. All you have to do is pull these 10 nuts, the 10 mil nuts on each coil pack. There's 2 on each one, then there's ground straps in between. So we're gonna go ahead and get these off with the 10. To actually remove the coil pack, all you have to do is pull up on the little clip for the harness. It's a little metal retaining clip, and then you can pull the harness out. So there's that one. I'm just gonna line them up, make sure they go back where they came from. As you can see, the coil packs are out, so now we're going to go ahead and pull the spark plugs out. Same kind of thing, super easy. I'm almost certain it is a 15. I am using a 1/2 inch impact socket, but there are special spark plug socket tools you can get that pull the spark plug out so you don't have to fish it out with pliers. I know this goes without being said, but just please be very mindful when you do this, whether you're installing spark plugs or removing them, that if you strip this, you're pretty much you would have to take the head off and get those retapped or whatever. So be careful, don't f it up. I don't know, do it right, get the right tools. But if you don't have the right tools, like myself, this is all I got. I'm gonna use some needle nose pliers to fish those out. Holy sh**. That thing is black. That is not a clean spark plug. Alright, all 6 plugs removed, 1 through 6. They don't look excellent. Alright, here is the compression tester. This is like a cheap pickup from Harbor Freight. You can get these pretty much anywhere. I'm pretty sure O'Reilly's and Advanced Auto Parts and all that, they like rent the compression tester too if you don't want to buy one. Essentially, you just have this quick disconnect hose. Gauge goes on this side like so, and then you find your fitting. Yeah, so then this guy goes in where you would have put your spark plug and test pressure. Last thing we need to do is actually pull the fuel pump fuse, so I'll show you where that is. Come over here to the fuse box, go ahead and pull the lid. Luckily, like every car, they give you a full rundown of what fuse is what and where it goes. Fuel pump is actually right here. It is fuse number 18. You'll notice it tells you like the banks of fuses up here. So 11 through 20 is right here. Fuel pump fuse is right there. Now go ahead and pull it. Set that guy aside. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and thread this guy on. Pretty much hand tight is fine, just so you're not going to let any air escape. And we'll plug in our gauge. So as you can see, we're all set up and ready to party. What I'm going to do is actually leave the gauge here, and then we'll go ahead and crank the car. All the values are then going to be recorded, and hopefully they're all within 75% of each other. You want the lowest and the highest reading to be within around 75% of each other. Now you're going to take your key, go inside, and start cranking, probably 5-6 seconds. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, here's our first number, right under 150, not great. Alright, so I've tested all cylinders, not once but twice, and I have some bad news. So, we have low compression on cylinder number 6. Also on number 1. I'm not sure how accurate the reading is on cylinder number 1, given that the first time I tested it, I got over 140, and second and third time testing it, I got 90. Here are the values I got from my compression test, not once but twice. I'll put them on the screen so you guys can read them. Cylinder 6 has the lowest at 90. Cylinder 1 had like 95 after I had tested it the second time, which is kind of weird. So this sucks, obviously, but we're gonna fix it. Or at least I hope so. A compression test isn't really the end-all be-all, or it is because the car has low compression. However, I don't know exactly what went wrong, so I guess the next step would be to pull the valve cover. I'm not 100% sure, or do a leak down test. I don't know enough about engines to speak confidently on like what happened. I actually have no idea. My guess is that when this car was running rough, either from the last 2 owners, last 3 owners, however many, it just kept getting driven and driven at an unhealthy state. I don't know how this happens, but it's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter now. I'm gonna deal with it. So I've never done engine work whatsoever, so I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but I said it before and I'll say it again. I bought this car to build on YouTube, so I'm not gonna just dump the car, drop it, and realistically, I can't get my money back if I wanted to even part it out, knowing that this has low compression, the car's an automatic, and it also has the beige interior. Not that much money in parts. I'm sure I could accumulate most of the money back, but it's not worth it to me to have an inoperable car, eventually turn it into a shell, and then scrap something. It's just, I don't want to part it out. I'd rather build it. That's why I bought it. I wasn't expecting to chase a compression issue this fast. I literally, again, I have no idea what happens. I'm kind of speaking out of my ass here because I don't know anything about this. But I just want to stress, I'm going to try my hardest to fix it, replace whatever needs to be replaced, rebuild whatever needs to be rebuilt. It's going to be a learning experience for myself, as well as hopefully for YouTube, for people that watch this. Hopefully I'll gain some new viewership, and I can make this a whole in-depth series. So if it means getting another M50 and resealing an M50 that has good compression, and kind of, you know, swapping with the good parts from this motor onto another motor, or whether it means rebuilding this motor. All in all, I think regardless, if I do work on this motor, the head's going to come off, and then we can look at the block, make sure the block is good. I'm gonna just start cracking down on research. This car is what it is. One thing I will say, it may seem foolish that I even purchased this car in the first place, but just keep in mind I had no idea the history of this car and what you know, people have been dealing with, the previous owners trying to fix it. It seems weird to me that somebody threw a bunch of new parts at it and then never compression tested it. So I think it's been compression tested. I'm sure it has. I'm sure somebody's looked at it. One of the previous owners, I'm sure, compression tested it, found out it had low compression, then sold it kind of shady, and then I ended up with it. Again, when I purchased it, I don't really have a baseline. I don't have a 325, I don't have an M50, so yes, it's slower than my M3. That's kind of all I took away from it on the test drive. It drove fine. And it was a really hot day. Looking back, should I have investigated more? Sure, but realistically, I don't know that this is something I would have been able to figure out. The car really did run good when I purchased it. So, foolish of me, I guess, to not know that it was down on compression. The compression is 90 and 95, whatever, between there, between 90 and 95. So it's not like 0. So it still has compression. That's why, I guess, assuming that's why it ran good enough to me not pick up on something. There's no ticking, no rattling or anything. So now I'm curious as to find out what the real issue, what caused this, what happened. Piecing together the history of the car, this is kind of a strange car. I think what happened is between the time the person that I purchased purchased from that owner, maybe dogged on it a bunch, and I don't know. I don't want to just create some situation or scenario that happened with this car, because again, I have no idea what happened. However, with everything, I'm still optimistic that I'll figure this out. If anything, it'll make the finished product a lot more rewarding. So with all that being said, thank you for spending time watching this video, taking time out of your day to choose this video to watch. If you're interested in E36 content and you want to see any more, I have E36 M3 videos. Nothing crazy motor in depth, clearly. But I make tons of E36 content, so make sure to stay tuned for the next video on this car. The current plan for this car is do a little bit more investigation, maybe off camera, and talk to a few buddies, talk to a few people that have a little bit more experience and have a lot more knowledge on this kind of thing. And then from there, I want to put this car back in storage just temporarily, get the M3 back in the garage, finish up some of the maintenance stuff I have planned for the M3 so it's drivable. I can just drive it all the time, not worry about it. And then I will dive into the 325. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like. If you really liked it, make sure to subscribe. Sharing the video helps, everything helps. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.